No Chinese dynasty ever used the term tributary system to describe its own strategic thinking, and well-informed historians have repeatedly denied that such a system existed. That was a quote from Peter Perdue, Emeritus Professor of Chinese History at Yale University. So it would seem to be a real problem then that policymakers and analysts still keep looking back to the Chinese tribute system to try to make sense of China today. Let's be clear, the custom of tribute exchange in order to demonstrate acceptance of a regime's legitimacy or to express a superior subordinate relationship, that practice certainly did exist in ancient China. But there were fairly similar practices as well found in the Russian Empire, in the Ottoman Empire, and even early modern France. So this idea that this thing called the tribute system is only associated with China and is somehow unique to Chinese culture, that's not really the case. Henrietta, Professor of Chinese History at Oxford University, has pointed out that the Sino-centric world order, which was underpinned by tribute exchange, was certainly an ancient and powerful idea, but she says it was just that, a powerful ideal rather than a representation of the world as it was, at least from the point of view of the emperor. Now let me talk about the work of Feng. He's a very interesting Chinese scholar who's been doing a lot of work on this concept of the tribute system. For his PhD, he carried out research into the question of whether or not the tribute system really did exist. And he focused on the Ming dynasty, which governed China from 1368 to 1644. And he chose the Ming dynasty because if the tribute system really did exist, it would be under something like the Ming dynasty, which was a particularly strong and powerful dynasty in China, that we would expect to see the tribute system operating to its fullest extent. But when Feng conducted his research, he found that actually that wasn't really how foreign relations were working, even during that time. For example, some of what we think of as tributary states, which were really the most representative tributary states, including Japan, in fact weren't paying tribute to the Chinese emperor, including sometimes for very long periods of time. They didn't seem to recognize the tribute custom at all, and yet the imperial court continued diplomatic relations with them. So it does seem that in fact tributary relations weren't necessarily all that important at all. On top of this, we would assume that given the importance of hierarchy and the cultural superiority of the Chinese and the Chinese emperor in particular to other surrounding states, we wouldn't expect the emperor to address any of the rulers of those states as his equals. Feng, in his research, he highlights a letter from the Yongle emperor to the leader of a neighbouring state, and the Yongle emperor addresses him as a fellow monarch, in other words, as an equal, which suggests that actually sometimes the emperor did treat neighbouring states as equal, which means the Sino-centric hierarchical world order wasn't really all that functional all of the time. And there are many other examples that Feng points to like this. So in other words, while there was tribute, this tribute system didn't really seem to be a system at all. The idea that there was a unified, hierarchical, all-encompassing way of ordering the world around the Chinese emperor, which was a way of managing foreign relations and keeping other states in a condition of perpetual submission to the Chinese emperor. That system didn't really exist. Thank you for watching.